girls for their willingness to step outside of the norm and the comfort zone and put themselves out there and represent something that's bigger than hockey and bigger than themselves. So yesterday was a game to support awareness for mental health, and it was in conjunction with Exeter and an organization out on the seacoast called Connor's Climb, which was started back in 2011, I believe, after an Exeter student committed suicide, and he was a hockey and baseball player. Their family started this organization in order to help equip and educate teachers and communities and the youth with the tools and resources that they needed to stick it to stigma, which was the tagline for that game. So it was a really nice way for the girls to think about all of the other things that they can impact other than just sports and hockey and things like that, and they can use this platform to do some really good work in the community.
Since after Saturday, because I think it was such a high, and then we kind of just went right down, because even on the bus, like the bus ride there, everyone was just kind of quiet. We always play music, but not everyone likes to sing along, which is fine. But usually we have some people at least trying to get the energy up, but it was just kind of like everybody across the board, like even like all of us, like it was just like, I don't know what it was, everyone just seemed tired and a little lethargic. And then we got there and we were like, all right, let's go. But everyone seemed still like just kind of on a slump.
It was just kind of funky going into the game against Exeter, because the practice beforehand was a little wonky, and the girls were kind of sick. But I think it was a little hard because we had just come from the game against BG where everyone was so high energy and everything, and then against Exeter we were kind of flat.
I feel like we were deflated. I think we had more intensity going into the BG game than any other game, obviously, and that Exeter game is also a really, really big one, and we didn't really come out to play, and you could tell the whole day it didn't really feel like game day. It didn't feel like the nerves weren't there in the locker room. It was like kind of quiet. We weren't really doing that much, and I think we all like registered that it's our job. We have to turn the switch on. We have to start to get ready to go. And it showed in the first period and the second period that we weren't really on for that game.
Going into the game, it didn't really seem like we were super excited. And we tried to get ourselves going, but I mean, sometimes we just have those days, and we'll just have to pick ourselves up and play the next game a lot better than the last one.
out, I was like, no, I'm not gonna get that right. It's not my job. And then it was my job, and I was like, it has to go in this time because I already did this once, and it didn't. But
something to worry about. I'm not sure that it was so much of a hangover as much as it was a decided outcome before we even got to the rink. It's tough too because with Exeter we've struggled against them in recent years, and they've capitalized on all the chances we got. So I think in the girls' head they were already going into that game thinking that they knew it wasn't gonna be easy, but I wonder if they thought that they really had a whole lot of a shot in that one, and they kind of took themselves out of it. They were real quiet on the bus. They weren't exactly themselves. So, am I worried about it? No, I think it was a good lesson for them. And I pointed out the contrast between the energy levels of the BG game versus the energy levels of the Exeter game, and how would you expect the same result if you're not putting in the same level of energy and level of compete and things like that. So I think they'll rebound from it. I think we'll go into Saturday, which is another, kind of a must-win for us, really, if we're going to stay where we want to be. And they'll do the right
It
thing.
happens, I think, every season, for me at least, that it doesn't hit you, and then there's that one game. So I would say that last night Exeter game was that game when it doesn't cross your mind that like it's a game that you have to think about it, and then you have to execute it. It's just kind of something that you go out and do, and then when you have a game that's off like that, it kind of affects you. Like it affects me for like most of the season, because now I do have that fear, like, am I gonna step on and not be able to execute what I know I have to do? Or like, am I not gonna be on today? And I think that gets in our heads, but I think our team like gets me personally out of my own head. Like JP most of the time brings me back and is like, no, like we're gonna do good. So I think that we all go through those moments, but we all have somebody that helps us get back out of them and get back into the game.
I personally think it's a one-time thing, only because this season especially, we've kind of came out with a lot of fire, especially recently. I hope it's not a reoccurring thing, and I think we can switch it back around. I just think we kind of have to be, when it's game day and when it's game time, I think we have to flip a switch. You know what I mean? Whatever's happening in the day, I get things are stressful and all that, but like sometimes I think we just need to separate hockey and, like our other, other parts of our lives, and just like have fun. You know what I mean? Because it's all, it is all about the sport as well, but mainly it's about having fun. And if you don't have fun, then it's not, worth it. So I think if we kind of separate that a little bit and just kind of focus on having fun and, being with the people that we love to be with. And this team is like a family, and I think if we just focus on the fun times, when we get out there, it just makes it 10 times better. So I think we'll be able to turn it back around and get pumped up again. Especially like when you are evenly matched with a team and it just goes back and forth and from one end of the ice to the other, and no one scores. It's hard, and especially then when we score and we get all excited and we're like, all right, now we're ahead, and then they come right back. So yeah, it definitely is frustrating.
like in the Leb game when you score one and then they score one, and then you score one and then they score one, and it's kind of like this game of like tag, like, oh, they score, you score, they score, you score. So I think in the locker room after the second, we were just kind of like, okay, there's no more long change in the third, so we really just need to take advantage and really like start playing together as a team. And then it was me, Shannon, and Callie on a line, and then we just kind of really like connected really well.
Well, I feel like, even though it's the end of the second period, we have a whole nother period to play. So, sometimes it does stink if it goes in, right at the end of the 2 minutes or at the beginning. I think that we just kind of have to keep our heads up and think, well, we have a whole nother period to play. So even if they tie it up, you just have to think of it as 0-0. 1-1, 2-2, it's 0-0. And, it kind of starts the whole game as a new clean slate.
Yeah, I think we were definitely frustrated. Like, that goal, like, I remember myself, like, getting off and being pretty frustrated. Not with the team, but, like, just because it happened. And when we got into the locker room, I think we really talked about what we did good and what we did bad and what we had to fix. And we, instead of, like, focusing on the things we did wrong, we lifted each other up to be like, all right, we have to get better, and when we get better, this is what's going to happen. And we definitely, like, showed them that we could be better.
For them to put the pressure on us was, they came there to play, and it kind of made us, we had to step up at that point. We didn't have a choice. So it pushed us through the game, obviously. And I think it was kind of on your toes there for a little while, not knowing if they were just going to put one in before we could put one in, and then we would be chasing them, not the other way around.
I think just our mindset in the locker room between the second and third really kind of just like changed around how we did in the third based on the first and second period.
After the second period, I think we started with the idea that enough wasn't enough. Going up and then being like, okay, that's good enough to get us the lead, and then resting a little bit on that. Obviously, Leb wasn't satisfied, and they kept coming. So enough wasn't enough for us, or just that one buffer wasn't enough for us, and we had to be hungry going out there. And we were. Luckily we got some nice offensive zone face-offs there, and they were spaced well apart, so I could put out the players that I wanted to out there, that I felt could have the best chance of capitalizing in those moments, and they did. 2 right off the bat, and then added the third one a little bit later. So I think I hope that at least showed the girls what can happen with some hard work and desire. Like, it was the fire that was lacking, that fire from the BG game. Like, I really wanted to bottle it up and take it, and we could have used it to start that Leb game. But they figured it out in the end. Luckily, it wasn't too little too late, but we might have dodged one there.
Kelly came in and talked to us was when we kind of got our heads together, I think, because she came in and we had already all talked to each other as a team about what we needed to change and what we weren't doing as well as we should be doing, and what was causing us to have this close game. And Kelly came in and kind of motivated us again, and it wasn't really about like our mood. It was kind of like just execute. So I think that we just had to do what we knew we could do. And that game we were kind of like sluggish, I think. So it was easy to follow a plan, and I think that's what we needed, especially at that point in time, was specifically just like an easy plan to follow. And then once we started doing that, you could see how it picked up pace, and then eventually we didn't need the plan, and we could just do what we were supposed to do again. So it was really nice to get back into our groove by the end of it.
It's nice. It's really, it takes a weight off your shoulders a bit, and it's like, all right, we have space, and we're able to really work. And once you get like 2 more, you're like, all right, now we're definitely in a spot where we can win, we can keep working. So I think off those 2 points, we really stepped it up.
Honestly, I just feel like we knew that it was a pretty evenly matched game for the first and second period. I think we knew like something was going to have to change, for us to score. And I think we kind of got all riled up in the locker room, and we said what we were going to do, and we needed to score. And we got out there and we did that. And I think, like you said, we did kind of like take over the game and made it ours. And we had a lot more like offensive presence, which I thought was important.
We needed the win for the standings, and also for like our minds, and to just like be confident and be comfortable with ourselves. I think that third period was one of the best periods we have played together as a team, and Kelly said the same thing. So I think that was a really good third, and we were hoping to carry that on into the next game with Berlin.
Leb has some skaters. All 10 of his girls that he played could skate, and they could move the puck, and they could be threatening. So I think the girls recognized that, and I think they felt good after that. And going into Berlin, after that, when we saw them in the second game of the season and tied, we knew we could beat them. So we were pumped and ready to go.